Hey y'all, Irix Guy here, and I wanted to do a little Sonos Beam with Sonos Sub Generation 3 initial impressions video. So this is the space where I've got it installed, and pardon the spots of paint on the wall, trying out new paint colors, going to repaint the fine studio here. It's kind of a mess, but I want to get all of this stuff done before I paint and make things look really good again. So this right here is a Sonos Beam. And it comes in black color as well. I like white. I think it's going to look super cool, especially after I finish my paint job in my studio. But it was, it was easy to mount. And by the way, expand this video's description and then click the link there, and you can find the Sonos Beam, the Sub, and the mount like I use. This mount, I think, looks really good, and it was easy to attach. I could have attached it to the top as well. But what are my initial impressions of the Sonos Beam? Well, we'll talk about the Sonos Beam first, and then we'll talk about the Beam with the Sonos Sub. So, first of all, the Beam, I like the size of it. This right here, I think is a 40-inch or 41-inch 4K TV. It's a pretty small TV, but for a smaller TV, this is a good size, perfect size, and it's it's not too big. It's amazing sound, especially for a smaller space like I've got. I mean, if I was in a big room, it would still sound good, but it's incredible for this. As far as my use case, I'll sit over here on my sofa and I'll watch TV, but most of the time, and see, I've got an articulating mount for my TV, but most of the time I'll watch my Apple Fitness Plus while I'm doing my rowing machine, or I'll tilt the TV over this way, or pan the TV over that way rather, and use it while I'm doing my exercise bike. But, so watching movies or whatever from sofa, rowing machine, or exercise bike. So that's my use case. Now, could I have gotten by with just the Sonos Beam itself? Did I need the subwoofer? Well, the Sonos Beam itself sounds great. It's got... One thing I really appreciate about it is just how clear the voices are. Whether you're doing an Apple Fitness Plus workout, or you're watching a YouTube video or watching a movie, just how clear the voices are. I mean, it's hard to explain. I mean, you got to hear it. It's a super clear experience. Now, the Sonos Beam itself, before I paired it with the Sonos Sub, it has a moderate amount of bass. I'm not going to say, oh man, this is going to shake the walls or anything like that, because it's not. But if you're in a small space where you don't really care that much about bass, that kind of rhymed, didn't it? If you're in a small space where you don't care that much about bass, and it's kind of close to your face, you may not even want this. You may not even need a sub or want a sub. This Sonos Beam itself, if you're just watching TV, maybe you're just a nerd and you just like to watch like financial news networks and stuff like that. This may be more than enough. So what I would recommend for that reason, I would recommend, just pick up the Beam, the Sonos Beam first, try it out, see what you think about it. Let your ears make the decision. So, and that's what I did. And one of the cool things about Sonos Beam is that, I've paired mine with the Sub, but if I had a bigger space, I could add some Sonos speakers to the side. I could add Sonos speakers behind me as well to create like a 5.1 surround sound. I could add an additional sub if I wanted to. I mean, I don't know why I would need to do that. One sub is more than enough. But, it's a very easy to configure system, and you can just kind of build it out as your budget allows. So, for that reason, I would strongly, unless you already know that you want the sub, or you already know that you want to get the additional speakers for the rear as well, I would start out with just the Sonos Beam. See what you think about that in your space, and then decide if you want the sub. Now, I got the sub, and the sub is incredible. There's a sub over there. I got it in white. It's got the little black center part. I got it in white just because it looks cool. Most of your home stereo equipment's going to be black. I just thought that white looked cool. It's very, very nice. What's incredible about the Sonos Sub, and obviously that's the Sonos Sub Generation 3. What's incredible is that it puts out a ton of bass, but you could put like a glass of water or something on top of it, and it hardly even moves around. It's crazy. I'll have to do a demonstration of that in another video. But it's, it's, the Sonos is awesome because you can control you set up all of your speakers through the Sonos app. It's got a tuning feature where you can tune the audio. It makes a series of sounds, and you walk around with your iPhone and you tune the speakers to sound optimized for your listening environment. So it's really cool the way that works. The setup is super slick. So, start small. Just get you a Sonos Beam and then decide, hey, maybe you want to add a subwoofer. Maybe you got a big space. Maybe you're rich. You got a lot of money. If you got that, man, you may have a bigger crib, and you may be able to have room in the rear for speakers. You may have room in the front. You could have your Sonos Beam in the middle on your TV. You could put some speakers beside it. Then you could put speakers behind you. You could buy a second sub. You could do all kinds of stuff. And that's what's so cool. It's just so easy to configure all of this through the Sonos app. And I've really enjoyed it. And I don't consider myself, you see I've got acoustic panels in my room and a green screen set. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a professional YouTuber, but I don't, I've got high-end audio equipment, but I don't consider myself to be, audiophile. Someone that's very that has great ears for discerning the differences among less expensive audio equipment and more expensive audio equipment. I'm not that guy. But doing everything that I do with video editing, which has a big audio component, doing everything I do with it, when I hear a speaker that sounds good versus a speaker that sounds okay versus a speaker that sounds pitiful versus a speaker that sounds exceptional, I can detect those types of things. And with that being said, don't trip. With that being said, Sonos is just a really, I don't want to use the word optically or audibly perfect, because I think that's probably too bold of a statement. But when I listen to it, it sounds perfect to me. And the biggest thing is cheers. The biggest thing is just being able to have the bass from the sub, but also be able to hear everything, all the spoken parts in a movie, crystal clear. It's just the perfect balance. It's hard to explain. You get the perfect balance of bass and clarity of spoken parts, and obviously sound effects and stuff too in action movies. So it's without trying to sound like everybody else out there talking about these things, because obviously I can say, well, I'll turn the speakers on and let you hear it. You can't hear how the speakers sound through a YouTube video. I'm not even going to do that. But yeah, just that you can hear the bass. You can feel the bass. It's like being in a movie theater. Where you've got the high end audio equipment. It feels like that. Whereas like a regular TV soundbar or a regular home theater system, they sound okay, but when you listen to those, it's kind of got the some of the audio sounds muddy, and the bass may just shake and sound muddy as well. So when you hear this, when you hear Sonos especially, and again, I've just got a small system. I've got the Sonos Sub and the Sonos Beam. But when you hear even a small system like this, or even the Sonos Beam by itself, it's hard for one to not be wowed and be like, wow, that sounds really good. It's really clear. It's a really immersive sounding audio experience. And that's important. Especially when you're watching a movie, the audio can really draw you in to the action. And even if you're not watching a movie, just listening to financial news networks and that sort of stuff with this, it sounds really good. So I would highly recommend it. Again, I would check out, if you don't know what you're going to go with, get the Sonos Beam first, see how it sounds in your space, and then decide if you want to add the Sonos Sub and any other Sonos speakers as well. And if you're looking for this speaker, expand this video's description and then click the link there. And you can find where to order them all online. And thanks for your viewership, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and ask any questions that you may have. I'll try my best to answer. Y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, Captain Irix Guy here. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to subscribe. It's youtube.com/Irix Guy. And ring that bell icon when you do to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.